Hey, Gemini, Mel, Intuitive Coach here. Excited to bring in your September 2025 bonus reading. Today, we are going to dive into the sacred shifts and divine gifts that are unfolding for you, along with messages from your spiritual helpers. Now, we have officially entered eclipse season. This is a time when the universe hits the reset button. Gemini, eclipses bring fated changes, revelations, and opportunities to release what no longer serves so that you can align more fully with your soul's true path. So let's see what is opening up for you. Seven of Swords at the bottom of the deck. There is a better course of action available to you. Working alone may not be the best answer. You may be guided to review all of the details. Take a look at a situation that you are currently going through and get honest with yourself. Review what needs to change. And we are going to look at the shift that is coming up for you because this is about embodying the energy here of honesty. And eclipse energy certainly can bring things to the surface that may have been hidden from our view, hidden from awareness. Now, this could be about you getting honest with yourself about some goals that you have. These could be health goals, professional goals, or emotional goals. And I see that you are leaning into support. It feels like there's soul tribe here, perhaps connections that you are wanting to strengthen, or there may even be certain energies that you are releasing in order to make room for this new path. So let's dive in here, Gemini, and take a look at the spiritual helpers that are showing up for you. Now, I shuffle these decks 5 or 6 times before I even cut them on camera. And Master Buddha has now shown up for every sign so far. So Master Buddha is bringing in this month a sense of increased awareness. This is about your connections to the earth, connections to others, but also the connection with your own self. And you are being guided at this time, Gemini, to trust your inner voice. Now you have a gift. You have the gift of communication. You're able to receive information potentially through your crown chakra. Many of you are channelers, you're healers, you are here to be of service, to help humanity in some way. But I also feel like you have the gift of being able to effectively communicate in an honest way without feeling judged, without feeling like others are invalidating you in some way. And instead, you are focusing on the truth, the internal piece of what is coming up. You are speaking it because you're speaking it from a place of soul essence. So if you have been hiding parts of yourself or cloaking a part of yourself in order to fit in or to be accepted or to not stir the pot, I feel like this is the time where you are becoming more aware of judgmental energies that are around you or that you are placing on yourself or others. And that is what is being released. Now we have Bridget. Bridget brings in with her inner strength, with her fiery hair. She is calling you back to a place and a space of wholeness. Recognize that you have the power, not other people, not through external validation, external sources or energies. Other people may have lied. They may have disappointed you. They may have told you stories that were not true about yourself. And I see here this month is wrapping up some powerful cycles. 9 is the energy of completions. September is the 9th month, which is about accomplishments as well. So you've been doing a lot of inner work, and it feels like that fire within you, Gemini, is getting stoked. There is an ember that you've been hanging on to, and now you get to fuel that fire. You get to fully show up as this whole part of yourself, not just bits and pieces. And lastly, you have Kuthumi, the cloak of wisdom. I just mentioned the cloak, right? With perhaps a mask or a persona that was draped over you because you may have been hiding a part of yourself, or perhaps you felt like other people were not being authentic, not being their true selves. And you see right through that. That's part of your gift as well. You cut through the BS. You see through the lies, through the illusions, through the masks, through the facades. And I also see that any of your own masks that you are wearing, you are bringing to the light. And there's a deep awareness. There's a deep compassion for those parts of yourself that you may have needed to protect, or you felt like they had to protect you in some way. You already know the answer you seek, Gemini. Trust what you know. Because oftentimes we look for external approval of what we already know. And I see here that you are going to receive confirmation. It could be through others, but I feel like it is through your own understanding, your own awareness, but it's through the signs and the symbols and the synchronicities and the messages that appear from the universe. Cloak of wisdom showing up here. So let's dive in and take a look at what your higher self wants you to know at this time. You have the Six of Pentacles. Beautiful. Your higher self is reminding you here, if you didn't already know, that your material needs are getting fulfilled in magical and maybe even unexpected ways. There are acts of kindness here, Gemini. You are also showing up in a kind way. This is about giving or receiving with a grateful heart. You could be the giver, you could be the receiver, but nonetheless, you are participating in the constant flow of reciprocity. What you put out, you are seeing returned back to you. This is the law of attraction, the law of cause and effect. And for some of you, you've been working really hard and you've been wondering, when am I going to finally reap the rewards, or when am I going to have the support or the help that I've wanted, that I've been trying to work towards? I feel like this energy is now coming from truth and authenticity versus fear and, a hidden part of ourselves, a part that we tend to hide because we're fearful. And maybe this is other people around you that haven't always been honest. And maybe that has been a mirror held up for where you haven't been honest with yourself. And I feel like there is a rebalancing taking place here in your inner world with that Seven of Swords, but also in your outer world, because the Pentacle realm is our material world, finances, it's our home, it's our possessions, it's our health, it's our body. So you're getting real with yourself, you're getting real with others, and you're not leaning on, other people's approval for your own self-worth. And that in itself is a win. Now, Gemini, what's the block or the blind spot? The Page of Cups. Okay, so it could be that there has been an emotional situation that was a bit supercharged, and perhaps emotions were a bit hurt. All right, because the block here can also be intuitive blocks. Pages can represent communication. And I feel like you may have been leading into fear, which the Seven of Swords, he's fearing losing or missing out on something because he wants the desired outcome that he wants. And sometimes this is survival mode. Seven of Swords can be survival. Like, I have to fight for my survival here, even if that means I have to steal, I have to lie, I have to cheat, I have to survive. And this could be a tactic that someone was using. And I feel like you're seeing through it, and things are changing here in a very big way because you're connecting more with your own intuitive awareness. And fear and intuition has been showing up often lately, where some people ask, Mel, how do I know if this is my fear rising up? How do I know if this is my intuition? And I like to think of intuition as expansive. I like to think of it as that subtle warmth that flows through you, allowing your openness to create possibilities. Where fear is loud, fear can be single focused, and fear causes restriction in the body, in your energy. And I feel like the intuitive part was blocked because the fear is loud and it takes over. And that may have been a bit of a blind spot. Your emotions or even someone's immaturity, because pages can represent the babies, right? The baby souls, lessons yet to be learned that could have been blocking. This could be someone's ego may have not known better, right? They may have learned how to hide or how to avoid. Sometimes the Seven of Swords can be avoidant tactics. Maybe you're dealing with someone who isn't or doesn't have the emotional capacity or the maturity here to help themselves in some way. Maybe children or even your own inner child could have needed extra love, extra nurturing. But now as an adult, I feel like you are taking accountability to open yourself up in ways that perhaps you haven't prior. And I feel like it is a game changer here for you, Gemini. Now, what is the mirror? The Five of Swords. Wow. All right. So this is what is being reflected in your life. There is a situation here that doesn't serve you. It's either with yourself, it could be with a family member, a coworker, a child, a parent. Maybe this is within your own mental confinement, our own thoughts, the stories, the lies that we tell ourselves that keep us small, that keep us restricted, right? That fear-based energy. Release your attachment to the outcome. Consider taking a more uplifting approach. So the mirror here is that someone's taking advantage of you, or perhaps your mind is hijacking you, hijacking your success. And the Five of Swords can even be bullying. It can be anger. It can be revenge. It can be manipulation or even resentments. And I feel like you are being guided to walk away from the drama. If you are butting heads, if this is another energy, and no matter what you've done to find conflict resolution, it may be that you need time and space away so you can, call in resources, so you can protect your own peace, your own boundaries here. And for those of you who have dealt with someone who has been sneaky or manipulative, I feel like you're understanding that it came from a place of ego. It came from a place of, not knowing any better. Now, that's not an excuse because we all have accountability to heal. And I feel like someone has maybe chose this path repeatedly. And you may be telling yourself, okay, I want there to be balance. So finding or seeking help could be trying a new approach with that Page of Cups to emotionally balance this dynamic between you and another. Maybe this is maybe a therapist or the help of a loved one here. Maybe mediation. I'm getting the justice scale, so it feels like there's some sort of balance here that is needed in order to bring in that Six of Pentacles. Some of you may be walking away from this, allowing yourself that time to say, okay, I need to focus on my own mental, physical, spiritual, and emotional health before I try to tackle this problem. Otherwise, if you try to find a solution in the same energy that has caused the problem, you're going to find yourself in a repeat story of the past. And there is a more uplifting approach. Trying to do the same thing over and over, expecting different results, we all know that definition. And I see here that you have the wisdom now. And I always say when you know better, you do better. And it feels like you have the do better part coming through with inner strength. Bridget is bringing this sense of strength and helping you move back to a state of divine masculine, divine feminine completion here. So there's a lot happening, Gemini. And when this Five of Swords shows up as a mirror, I feel like there's There's this energy of knowing what to fight for because it's worth fighting for, and knowing when to walk away from something because you've hit a dead end. And that's the mirror that is being reflected in your life. Now, what is the shift? What needs to be released? Commitments here of some sort that include your belief system. You have the Hierophant, the search for meaning. Consider an alternative approach. So you have that message coming in twice. There's a different approach. There's a different perspective, a different story that you are being guided to tell yourself at this time. Surrounding yourself with wise teachers or friends. And that's why the Seven of Swords is reminding you working alone may not be the best answer. And you are allowed to ask for help. And some of you may be thinking, Mel, I don't even know where to go for help. Now, this could also be using your resources wisely, where you're seeking help by learning through an online community, or you're taking a class or a workshop to help you in some way. That can be help by learning from someone who's walked in your shoes before. This is about spiritual guidance, Gemini. This is the shift that's happening, is you are leaning in to your divine, your divinity. You're leaning into your spiritual helpers. As Wayne Dyer used to say, let go and let God. And there are miracles taking place in your life. Whatever this tug of war was or is that's going on, whatever the Seven of Swords, this deceptive energy or even self-denial, whatever it may be for you, you're being guided here to connect to your higher self and to connect with other energies that may have shared or maybe currently sharing your journey, and to find a higher ground. I'm getting take the higher ground, take the higher path here in some way. Don't stoop to someone else's level. Try not to get caught up in someone's drama. That's easier said than done, but you have the ability to be able to do so. That's why Bridget is showing up here, to remind you that you have the inner strength. You are not broken, not at all. Yes, you've gone through experiences that have felt like a tug of war, but you can come back to the sense of wholeness. You can start to recreate your life through the stories that you tell yourself, to choose to consciously interrupt the patterns that are replaying out for you time and time again, and reevaluate where your commitments lie. You may need to reprioritize. Is this belief still true for me? Is this something I want to continue committing myself to? Or am I being guided to take a different approach? And that's where the shift happens. So what is the gift? What is the gift here? What's waiting on the other side? Beautiful, the Eight of Cups. The Eight of Cups says there is something better waiting for you. I love it. And you actually see that she's about to cross this little threshold, this little bridge. Do what you know is right for you. This is a spiritual quest. Now, Gemini, this is my Eat, Pray, Love card for those of you that are familiar with the book or the movie with Julia Roberts. It looks on the outside like she has it all, right? She has the husband and the home and the career and the friends and the money. But inside, she knows that something is missing. So she goes in search of the meaning of life because she forgets what it's like to be an active participant in her own life, because she starts to feel like a zombie walking through, doing the everyday motions, doing the everyday routines and the things that, we get caught up in. And not everybody can quit their job and go find themselves in Bali. But what you are asked to do here is to do what is right for you. And you may have had an emotional connection to someone or to something that's no longer serving you. And you are being guided here to grow. This is the energy of walking away, moving on, personal growth. You have a sense of discovery here waiting, a sense of independence that you absolutely can embrace. This is more meaning ahead for you. This is a new path that feels authentic. It feels real. It feels like this is what you know is right. It is a spiritual quest. And lastly here, we have the Judgment as your outcome. This is the integration. This is the grounded action, Gemini, that you are being guided to take. If you want to move forward in this mindset here, it says, starting a new life. Finding your purpose. There you are with the Eight of Cups, right? A spiritual quest. This is the purpose, the meaning. It is the deeper energy, the spiritual growth behind where you've been versus where you're going. You're walking into not only your Nine of Cups, your wish fulfillment, but it feels like there's emotional satisfaction in a way that you haven't felt in quite some time. And the Judgment card here is a forgiving and compassionate review of the past. And I see here that you are undergoing a massive rebirth. This is Scorpio's energy of redemption, life's purpose. It's a second chance here to show up and live the life that you've been wanting. So whatever area that you are feeling restless or dissatisfied in, that is what is shifting, because the gift coming in is allowing you to be able to cut ties with something, with someone, with a pattern, with a behavior, whatever it's been that has held you back. Whatever fears have been arising, whatever judgments have shown up, whatever it was that you were unable to let go of, the judgment comes knocking. And when it comes knocking, there's no going back. You don't have to go back to this old way of doing things. You don't have to go back into the Seven of Swords, hiding parts of yourself to be accepted, to be loved, to feel worthy. This is a false sense of security. It's a false energy that shows up when we are trying to protect a part of ourselves. And if this is someone else that was lying or deceptive, they were doing the same. So understanding and having compassionate towards perhaps this individual, but it doesn't mean that you have to stay connected or bonded. And I see many of you, this has been a struggle. Perhaps it's been an ongoing struggle between you and another. And what you are seeking now is balance. And I see here with the Six of Pentacles, the reminder from your higher self is acts of kindness, being kind with your own self, being kind to others, because you don't have to, again, fall back into the old patterns. You don't have to lower your frequency, your vibration. You don't have to step back into someone else's energy, because sometimes we do. Sometimes we want to move forward, but that energy is holding us back. And that's why the Judgment is here, bringing in the start of a new life. This is your purpose. This is your mission. This is part of your destiny. It's part of your life path, meaning your higher self knew about this prior to incarnating into this earthly plane. So everything that you are going through now has created this strength within you where you can overcome any of the challenges, where you can break out of the cycles. You have this increased awareness where in the past you've had to learn. You've had to learn the hard way through the school of hard knocks. You have the wisdom, the strength, and the awareness to move you forward towards wish fulfillment. That is what I have for you, Gemini. If you enjoyed the reading today, please give it a thumbs up. Feel free to share, like, subscribe, and hit that bell if you haven't already. And if you are interested in a personal reading, signing up for the monthly newsletter, or entering into the free reading giveaway, you can find all of that information in the description box below the video.